Yes, there is indeed movement, just not the good kind. My screen went to sleep for some reason, even though all the settings are seemingly correct. Hopefully, my levels and stuff are okay. Got my tiger beer here. Yeah, hopefully, I remember how to do these things. I think it's a bad connection actually. Somehow, I had to change my benching GPU. So it's really weird because I moved to a new place, and in the old place, my rig was always to the left of me. Now I decided to put it to the right of me, so everything's sort of reversed. So I did what 1,500 or 2,000 scores on this display out GPU, a Gigabyte GT710, and I tried to overclock it. Wrong OS. Oh yes, yes, we have a spam bot already. Isn't that great? Yeah. Okay. I just increased the sliders on this card and then started artifacting for some reason. So now I have, which you probably can't really see, but I have a Country Cup 2017 special GTX 1050 Ti with some disconnected volt mods as my display out card. Anyway, yeah, so this is the new setup, and I've already spilled beer on my table, so that's great. I think the face cam, I need to find a better spot for it, but it'll do for now. Yeah, I'll briefly mention this and then come back to it. Cookie from Gigabyte was kind enough to send me a B650E Tachyon, and I bought a 7950X for what I thought was a reasonable price. They've dropped quite a bit since. Okay, I better do something about this spilt beer situation. All right, before it just flows into all my electronics and the stream goes down. Yeah, so I've got a Tachyon 7950X in there, and then just air cooling, and I'm just gonna do some of the global benches in a minute. But before that, yeah, I'm still, what's still sort of missing is I haven't found. This is what happens when we move to a new place. I haven't found my main benching USB yet with all the stuff that I need, so I might be missing some things. But also I haven't like set up my chiller yet, so that means I can't really do 3D because all my cards are bare PCB. Yeah, so there's a few things still sort of outstanding, but uh, at least my standing desk goes up and down now, which it used not to in the old place for whatever reason. I thought I would go through what I've. So basically, December was the bench meet in Adelaide with, not that I was all that involved, but other people at the bench meet did the 3D Marco 1 record on a Coles 980 Ti. There was the first 1 million in Aquamark. There was a pretty good 32M. It wasn't the world record, but it was like second or third place. There was a global first in Geekbench, which has since been broken by SafeDisk. I did not so many things, but of course it's not on here for some reason. I did PyFast and 1M on my 13600K, but then I got a fill up in when was it? January or April? Okay, I got a fill up in April, so it's not that long ago. And I'm just gonna sort of, for everyone's benefit, including mine, because I can't really even remember this, but out of 100 liters, I binned 3700X, Just one of them I just went by vid, but I have actually a better vid and better Cinebench 15 chips. I'll have to do that. But in terms of CPU frequency, man, it was good enough for fourth. So Psycho, I wasn't getting anywhere close to Psycho. That's why I'll bin another chip. But for pretty much everything else, so this is a gold, this is a gold. Everything here is a gold. I don't think I subbed anything that wasn't a gold. So 5, 6 through single core stuff isn't bad. Oh yeah, Akamai 4-way world record. Sorry, I forgot about that. Very, very important. So there you see the modded card being used as display out. I'm really getting to like the Unify X as a board. I don't really like the dark. Crosshair 7 is starting to show its limitations. Oh, that's right. I didn't run high RAM yet. So I'll do 1600 FCLK. 1.8 V-core is pretty standard. Since then, I've found a few more things that I can squeeze out of this chip. But in terms of like multi-core frequency, you're talking about 5.4 or so, 5.5. So easily beating Psycho at 5.3 here. I mean, 1M, I don't think Psycho was really trying here. If I remember right, yeah, 5.3, just running the same frequency as multi. Yeah, Cinebench 20 was actually pretty hard. For whatever reason on this platform, it has some little niggles. But I got there in the end. So the 3 Cinebenches. So there's not really all that much outstanding. I'm just trying to think back. I targeted this chip. I don't really target 50 pointers anymore because it's pointless, because if I just quickly go into my hardware points, there's so many here that I plan to take back anyway. So some of these silvers should really be golds. It's just waiting on the next fill up. But the bottom end of the ranking, I actually have something along the lines of 65, like 50 pointers all the way down to 65. So it's pointless. It doesn't really help my ranking to get 50 pointers. So I target 62 pointers and 70 pointers exclusively, basically. And if I don't have the chip for it, I'll just keep binning. Is sort of the idea. So that's why I didn't. Well, I probably also ran out of LN2, but I mean I did some fun, like, because 11.5 is a close to my heart. I benched that. I benched 7-zip as well, because I had an interesting, I'll go on to this next, but I had an interesting experience benching that on the 5900X. Yeah, so by the way, is the Discord bot is still working after all this time. So I put it in chat earlier as well, but just to mention, I hope this is just a temporary thing, but my transcoding is gone. So it used to be, hopefully I'm right in saying this, but all, not partnered, what's the one below that? Affiliate Twitch streamers would get transcoding, but I haven't streamed in 5 months. And it seems like my transcoding is gone. I restarted the stream once. That's supposed to help sometimes. So if anyone's trying to watch on mobile, they might be a little bit on struggle street, because I like the source stream is 6 megabits, so that can be a bit tough on 4G. But on desktop, hopefully it's, you know, people shouldn't have any problems with that. So I did 7-zip, and that was kind of it. I mean, 32M is a bit of a commitment at 6 minutes. You know, Y Cruncher is probably more of an ambient thing. Yeah, 4.7. So I could knock that off on ambient if I really wanted to. W prime 4.8. Yeah, okay, single stage 5.4. That's actually, for whatever reason, Martin White decided to bench W prime and nothing else, because this chip looks like it might be able to do Cinebench. another reason to, you know, bin in a couple of more chips. I just got lucky with the first one here, but so these are very, very, very similar. So around this, just because that's when I had my fill up. But then afterwards, I did some Cinebench binning, post binning, I suppose, and that chip wasn't great for 425, so middle of the pack. So I'm keeping this chip and selling these three, and I'll try this one on LN2. Just I like to get frequency first. It's one of my favorite quote unquote benches. So that's the plan for 3700X. I don't know why my fan is spinning up so much, but anyway, it's bloody cold around here. Just let's take Cinebench 15 as a point of comparison. So if you go hardware rank 1, and then my target would be above, well, 62 points or above. So there's obviously the 5950X, which had globals, so that's tough. Same with the 5900X. The one I currently have in my possession is certainly not good enough for that. 3900X is certainly a target. I think 5.6 isn't easy, but those chips are starting to drop in price. 5800X, yeah, also had globals at the time, so that's gonna be a harder bin just because of that. 3700X I took. 5600X, yeah, they're nice and cheap at least, so that's like an easier bin to stomach than 5950 and 5900, and to some degree 3900. 2700X I may as well talk about now. I bought one, I ran it. They're only about 100 Australian dollars these days in Australia. I ran one on the Unify X, but I didn't have the modded BIOS with the first gen LN2 volts yet, and it cold bugged at an extremely frustrating -182, I think. And then I thought I was being clever and ran it on the Crosshair 7, thinking, well, it's just the board that's causing that. And actually had an even worse experience on the Corsair 7. But now, thanks to Degonzi, I have the first and I guess second gen modded BIOS for that. 1700, I've already got first. 3600 is a bit of a sore point because I have an insane chip. It's just a little bit below what Speed Facets can do, and the distinguishing factor is that he can run insane FCLK. So 1900 FCLK, I think he told me he can even do more than that full pot, whereas at least on the Unify X, at least without the modded BIOS, I can't full pot below 1600. So this is 5.8 with nice and high RAM and stuff. So yeah, 1600 FCLK. So yeah, so 5800, I think he can do 5850, but it's not really the core frequency that's whole. Well, I mean, core frequency would be nice too, but I don't necessarily need to make up that 50 megahertz in core frequency, but I do have to make up some efficiency on especially FCLK and to a lesser degree RAM. Anyway, let's where were we? Let's go back. So that was the 3700X. A lot of scores there. Then I ran off a cheeky little XTU. It's only third. I was having issues with this board. I'll have to come back to that. I don't think that was full pot in the end. XTU is a good way of just grabbing points basically. So yeah, definitely coming back to that. That's a retail chip. Gonna keep it around just for the purposes of Country Cup and those kinds of things. So not that successful. So just cheekily getting a 70 pointer on the 9600K. And the good news here is that my Apex seems to be back from the dead, kind of. It was refusing to run 1T for me, but that can easily just be Maximus tweak or something like that. But otherwise, doing okay. The chip was garbage, but it was good enough for first. I think second was on yeah, it's just on water or on dice. And then I think I did other things with this fill up. That's clearly not 95 liters worth of benching, but this is the extent of what really made it onto hardware bot. Where's my, god damn it. Going on to the ambient benching now. That's happened since the last stream, which was 5 months ago. I got a second 1080 Ti Strix with a block on it. Come on, internet. You can do it. Yes. But in fact, I only ran single card 03. Let's look at the ranking. So first is Bullet. Spits in there. So competitive on card clocks. But let's see. Dark Gregor, I think, might have a bit of CPU clocks on me. Yeah, so that's LN2. So that's not bad. Like being on, that's 12900K, okay. So I was able to squeeze 6.2 out of my chip. Wonder what voltage I ran. 145, that's not too bad. This is far from optimized. That's without voltage control, just with the chiller nicely chilled down. That was fun. I want to go back to that. I mean, obviously the real target is two-way, even though I know the Titan XPs are better for two-way now. But yeah, I'll definitely come back to that. 7-zip was fun. So this was, I had a bit of a like score to settle kind of thing here, where I had an LN2 score which was horrible, and I wanted to beat it on ambient, and I ended up beating it on air actually. So this was all out, just a quick run. I was just trying to get the 50 pointer and the 1400 FCLK, and then obviously other tweaks and just the bad RAM. Like especially tertiaries here were really, really bad. This was like a Cinebench profile. It was terrible. Whereas if you compare that to the other score, which is I believe at 1 gigahertz, yes, 1 gigahertz less, but I did this over the course of a week or even longer. Just ambient testing. So this is nicely optimized 4000, 12, 12, 11, like 220 TRFC, 1T of course, 2000 FCLK as well. It's nice. And while we were talking about two-way earlier, let's just quickly mention all of the developments in 3 Mark 01. So XP64 on modern platforms is now a thing. I don't think I have to go into the mod. The image is on the forums. That's obviously a boost in 01. For this benchmark, you know, basically Windows 7 is the slowest OS, but it has the highest compatibility. So if you need to run 3 and 4-way, that'll be on Windows 7. 1 and 2-way, it's sort of, we're maybe kind of getting to the place where like a 4090 is kind of competitive for 1-way, but not really, because it doesn't have, obviously doesn't have XP drivers. It doesn't in fact even have 7 drivers anymore. It only has 10 and 11 drivers. Where is it actually? I thought there was a pretty highly ranked 4090. I mean, 1080 Ti doesn't have XP, so that already gives you an idea of. Yeah, so here you see, so 210. Anyway, this is the score that's up. It's still XP 32. So hopefully, everyone out there who has any sort of affinity for 01, please run it. Because this score needs to be beaten because, okay, so I think the card is decently clocked, 2000, but it's on the wrong OS. The chip is good, high BCLK. It's got all the ingredients, but you know, 64 would add, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10k, I suppose, if I had to guess. So, waiting for the next score there to really make things exciting. But where things are already exciting is two-way, because two things happened there. Tag released, just look up PCIe 2.0 Tag on YouTube. Tag released the mod to get cards which are natively PCIe 2.0 to run PCIe 2.0 bandwidth on modern platforms such as Z790. And that meant that, so the state of play before that happened was, Titan XP in 7, just because of the raw GPU power was competitive, so it's third here. 590 is competitive because it has less GPU power, but it gets the boost from XP. And then with the addition of XP64, that resulted in Splay's second place score here. But of course, with PCIe 1.1 limitation without the mod, which is actually, I should mention, a V-bias mod, means that you need to have like an NF200 bridging chip in the loop to sort of get around that limitation. So that's why the GTX 590 was a thing, because with that bridging chip you still get the native. You get sort of two benefits, because you get, since you're only running one physical card, you get 16x, whereas with two physical cards you get 8x times 2 across the two physical 16x slots. And yeah, but now one of those benefits, or one of those advantages of the 590 is gone, because we can now run modded 580s 2.0. So you've gone from, let's say 1 equates to the bandwidth of 8x PCIe 1.1. Previously, the 580s had only a bandwidth of 2. Now they have a bandwidth of 4. Previously, the 590 had 4 bandwidth already, because it was 16x PCIe 2.0. So now the bandwidth is the same. And of course, the big benefit is you have XOC capable 580s, and you don't really have it. There was a 590 classified, but Tin had to mod the shit out of it for it to do anything. So TMAU here ran cold 580s, actually on water, but that's something that could happen, right? So 580s water is already good enough for first. If Splay drops a backup, or someone else comes in with 580s on like chiller or something, then you could run cold 580s. Yeah, and people keep mentioning that this setup looks really nice. It does look really nice. Just the short lines from the chiller into the cards, and then those big orange tubes. Yeah, so basically this mod for PCIe 2.0 is only a thing for cards that are natively 2.0. So 3.0 and 4.0 and 5.0, whatever, that's not a thing. I guess, I don't know if anyone has tried this. I doubt this would work, but I guess native PCIe 1.1 cards can magically be turned into 2.0. That would really surprise me. So, and it's NVIDIA only right now, but there's going to be an ATI one released supposedly at some point, a video on how to do it on ATI cards. So roughly speaking, there's always some exceptions, but roughly speaking, this mod works for GTX 200, 400, and 500 series. And the newest card that will do SLI in XP is the 580 anyway, so that kind of works out. So you've got the fastest card that will do XP, and it also has the mod available to really make it sing. Oh, so just in terms of a bit of show and tell, I got retail packaging of my Tachyon, so that's always nice. I wonder what I don't speak Taiwanese. If someone can translate that, that would be interesting. But nice little box, completing my family of Tachyon Z590, Z690, Z790, and B650E. Those are all the Tachyons. Okay, so here I've got my little bag of tricks. I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate. Sometimes people say, you know, the destination is the journey is the destination. I really screwed that up. Here's my other my 7600. So that's the only other chip I have. I could potentially run that system, but that's seen cold already, so that would be on the hit list to try to full pot, because I think it only did -120 in the other board I had, which actually died. So that's part of the reason I asked for a Tachyon. This is a random X2 Athlon 3800 plus. I don't know, it's in my in tray because I bought it recently. This I think is an FX 8150. Yes, and I'm just going to show it because it's disgusting. Somebody on eBay sold me a chip like this. I'm well known for sending chips with paste on them, but to other benchers who know how to clean them and don't care about it. But this person sold this to a stranger like this, so not great. Hopefully it does HE, then it would sort of redeem itself. I don't know if I showed these on stream before, but just to shout out Mr. Max Beach, a fellow Aussie bencher, for sending me all of these Socket A chips. A lot of them. May as well just open them up in case someone hasn't seen a Socket A chip before. Really big pins at the bottom. Might say Australia. Okay. Australia. Does it say like Australia bound or something, or Australia please, or Australia rocks? Okay, we're halfway there to translating it. Yeah, Socket 8 chips. A lot of very hardy pins at the bottom that are really hard to bend, and then bare die. Back in the day where you had bare die, and there's pencil mods for some of these as well, which is kind of cool. So there's the brown. So this is a Athlon. I could just read the box. Thoroughbred 2400 CZ stepping. Let's see if there's a green PCB in here, because at some point, can't remember. This is going back so long, but at some point AMD switched from green to brown PCB. Here we go, green PCB. So this is a mobile, a 2011 chip apparently, or no? Is that just 0711? Maybe it's just a batch. So here's a mobile chip, rare shit. I really like the green PCBs. I don't know if the desktop ones ever switched to it though. Okay. I'm building up to something here. Whether it's actually interesting is, you know, another matter, but I'm building up to something. So here's another brown PCB, 3000 plus. I think you get the picture. Just beautiful. Just CPUs don't look like this anymore. Compare, I mean, not to diss on the 7000 series, but let's compare green PCB to green PCB just to be fair about it. Do we have another mobile? There we go. So this is a desktop green PCB. Decades ago, today. I mean, the shape is kind of interesting, but I just, you know, just the fact that one is PGA, one is LGA, one is bare die, the other is with an IHS. An oddly shaped IHS is that at that. Yeah. Okay, I won't go through all of them. But what I also received from AliExpress this week is, like I said, the Journey. Yeah, Athlon XP, like thoroughbreds and stuff. It's socket A, so it's DDR1. This is the aspect of this show and tell, which is the Journey's destination, because I received my 100th Phenom 965 Black Edition. I'm still binning them. I'm still trying to beat Mad's 32M score. I don't know. I've had a look at the vids. I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, I got 20 of them. Here we go. And they're all in these cool little cases. Really nice. I appreciate that from the seller, because it had gotten to the point where a lot of the sellers weren't even giving me, you know, the regular sort of cases anymore. Like, I was such a repeat buyer, they were probably like, fuck you, we're not giving you any more cases, these cost money. But this shop went above and beyond and gave me these weird plastic cases. This is Carrizo. So it's an Athlon X4 845, famous for having the 32M efficiency record on AMD until DDR4 came around. And that's a good segue to, I'm gonna sort of shout out Matt, aka Tech Tested's quad core BCLK competition. So at one point I was theory crafting, and I was thinking, IPC wise, if the comp was limited to, you know, 3.5 gigahertz, this would be a really good chip to run. But the comp is not limited to a particular frequency, it's limited to a particular multiplier, which means BCLK is king. So limited to 20 multiplier on FM1, 2, and AM1. So then, you know, you've got to get like 4.4 out to have a chance. Like Ale, I think, is at 4.4, 4.3, 4.4, something like that. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, 4.4. So you're talking 20 mult. 220 BCLK on 220 BCLK on FM2. And why is my stream stuttering? That's not great. That's not going to happen on this chip. But it was a good idea, and I needed a new one anyway because my other one died, I think. Just trying to. So there's the comp. Maybe I should shut that window. Yeah, that's kind of all I had prepared in terms of show and tell. Should we talk about the Benchmade controversy? Maybe while I actually start a bench, you know, 38 minutes into the stream in typical Unity OC fashion. So let's go to bias just quickly. I did the most minimal of tuning leading up to this. I was mostly focusing on finding my bench USB, my bench SSD. So if anyone on stream knows more about AM5 memory tuning than I do, like VPP, does that do anything? I just increased VDD and VDDQ because that's what I do on Intel. Yeah, I don't know if any of this, like, what does any of this mean? VDDP. Actually, that's already set here. So why does VDDP and DDR VDDP VPP? So confusing. So I was able to get 6200 out of it. 6400 was really dicey. No, the only other, no, I'll leave that alone. I'll just mention as well, for whatever reason it wouldn't do 32 here, and it didn't do below 39. So that's all I've done. By the way, I'm on F5B, which is the latest retail BIOS. Thankfully this board has dual BIOS, so I also have an extreme BIOS on the other position, which I probably won't be using today. I think this BIOS has something in it related to, hello? Hang on, quit is a new one. Yeah, gear down I think is disabled by default or something like that. Your first PC, my first PC was, it ran Windows 3.11 or 3.12 and DOS obviously, and it was 386, whatever they're called, 386, you know, the thing that existed before the Pentium. All right, the rig is actually up and running. Let's just double check in Zen timings that we have what we need in terms of, you know, is this a new enough version of Zen timings to show me the accurate FCLK, for example. Ooh, could not get to power table. Shit. Maybe we have our answer. Maybe it is not new enough. Okay, let's get a USB drive out and put the new Zen timings on there at least. One from November. That's not new one. So 1.29. If people don't know, Zen timings, as far as I know, is maintained by our friend and fellow bencher, Infrared. As it blue screens while idling. Well, that's a good start. Ominous. The first PC I sort of, I wouldn't say bought with my own money, but that wasn't a family PC, but was just for my brother and I, was an AMD 733 megahertz Athlon case 7, I think. Slot is before socket A, slot A, which is crazy to think about. And he got shipped across Europe because PCs were cheaper in Germany than in Ireland, where I was living at the time, which is also crazy to think about. You know, it's basically pre e-commerce. Okay, so it literally, it actually has an issue. It wasn't just randomly unhappy about the fact that Zen Timings was pulling the power table. Like the overclock is actually unstable. Okay, let's not give up on 6200. Let's give it 1.2 sock. What does everyone think about the burning AMD CPUs because of, well, supposedly in part because of overvolting on the sock rail? Oh, hi Zebby. Surprising amount of people, number of people around. Considering this is a pretty random stream. Okay, so did I actually manage to get... Oh, I might have to... Oh, there's a random amount of remove mem set, which is not conducive to anything really. Hello? Last time I checked, the restart button was supposed to restart the PC. I mean, I haven't been benching for 5 months, so maybe things have changed, but I sort of thought that that was still the case. Fuck it. Working on something like, you know, working on something benching wise, or actually working as in a day job, because one is more fun than the other. Have to do something about my rig lighting, but that's for the next stream. Classwork. Oh, not sure I'd be capable of going back to university. Oh, it's not actually even booting anymore. It's like I put in the most measly little overclock, thinking, well, at least it won't be stock. This is kind of pathetic, but at least it won't be stock. Little did I know it was actually going to be unstable. So I think the burning chips were 1.35 or so stock. Still wish I could switch up the no signal picture to like a Harbobot logo or something. I mean, 6200 RAM. Okay, so it doesn't like it doesn't seem to like sock voltage. Let's aim to remove the sock voltage, then check if remove mem is gone, then check if that fixes the blue screens, and then subsequently actually do some overclocking. I think Tuesday nights could be a good night for me in terms of potentially aiming to have a stream every week. I think it's doable. Whether, yeah, I don't know what that's going to do audience wise. I mean, I used to do Friday nights, which is kind of good. Okay, let's check temps. I mean, I put Kingpin under here, Kingpin paste, and it's like a dual 140mm air cooler. So okay, I mean CPU clock, I don't think. Okay, this is really depressing, but I'm gonna go down to 6,000. In case you're not aware, on Gigabyte boards, the little star means it's in the favorites menu, and the way you add it to the favorites menu is with insert. So I'm going to add that to the favorites menu, along with multiplier. Yeah. What is with these hangs on save? Doesn't make any sense. Okay. So what I've got to do is surely this board unlocks PMICs, no? It's worth a try, for sure. So the other thing about this new setup is the rig is to the right of me instead of to the left of me, like I said before, but I also rotated it 90 degrees. I think it might make it a little bit easier to sort of like pour without having to get up. And certainly on boards where the buttons are on the bottom edge of the PCB, it's really nice because I don't have to go into IO to clear CMOS. Postcode at the bottom, it's great. Top right, I think, is still acceptable, whereas part of the reason I had it to the left of me in the previous house was if the postcode is top right, then it's like really easy to see, whereas to the right of me, look, you know, oriented like this would be a disaster with postcode like literally in the far corner. Okay, so load up our profile. It's F9, F4, I mean. 1.435, 1.435. I mean, it shouldn't have a problem with 1.15 sock. Re-add that to favorites. Yeah, let's just try a straight boot. And it just feels like I have more space in front of me. Like previously, hey Mickey, welcome. How have you been? Previously, I had 2 landscape and 1 portrait screen in front of me, and then the laptop screen. Now I managed to squeeze in 3 landscapes, so that's nice. And the browser is straight in front of me. I used to sort of, I think it was pretty obvious on the stream, like I used to be like on camera like this a lot because that's where the screen was. I'd be sort of facing away from the camera. Not that I necessarily want to look straight into the camera, but if at least like it's sort of, you know, the camera's here and the browser's here, you know, it's sort of adjacent to one another. Enough watching the WODs. And 15 postcode is a bit weird on this board. It's like, if it's gonna post, it'll be 15, but also if it's just totally stuck, it'll be 15. I hope this chip isn't half dead or something. Oh, 26. Okay, so it just took a while to train up. Because this chip I bought sort of privately, so it wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world to return. Boot failure detected. What the fuck? I'm I'm pretty well. I'm just a millimeter away from not even applying an overclock. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what's okay? Just build a new fucking profile then. Jesus. Okay, no. Let's try it the other way. Okay, let's go on the assumption that the stakes are not great and they actually need more volts. Let's be positive. Oh, the RAM bidding. Yeah, bit of a disaster. I think if I remember right on that one, I don't think I had my analog and digital I/O really set to the right thing, so I don't know how good the binning really was. I probably have to rebin all my sticks, to be honest. Okay, this seems promising. 26, 70. Usually when it cycles to 70, 97, 98. Okay, so I probably have an additional issue in the sense that the OS is kind of dirty at the moment. So I probably what I'll have to do is clear CMOS, boot once, make sure the OS is okay, then reboot, reapply the profile, and then should be good to go. I don't know. Sometimes you can recover OSs just by booting in without any overclocks applied. I give it one go. What's the worst that could happen? The only other issue with, well, 90-degree flipped, I suppose I can put the alien here. That's actually not bad. I'll hang on 15. Something's happening. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to show. I knew there was one more thing. I just had it right in front of me. I think I showed an AM1 chip before and how tiny it is, but now I got one in retail packaging. So this is a Sempron. Rig, exclamation point rig. Look how tiny it is. Let's compare it to a, okay, so the OS is just completely fucked. Great. Let's reimage. Hopefully we can reimage. I hope this wasn't my, I think this was my good 7-zip OS, but never mind. Let's just image over it. Okay. So here's our comparison FM2 Plus and AM1. Doesn't look as different, to be honest, but it just feels tiny for some reason. But then where the real difference comes in, look at the stock cooler. Let's compare to the it just doesn't even compare. How can that, what's the fucking TDP on this thing? 2 megs of cache. It's crazy. Athlon. Now, what's this thing called? Sempron 385. I thought, yeah, 25, 20. I mean, I think 25 is just sort of, well, we have to give it a number. It actually uses like whatever 12 under load, but we have to give it a number. So let's just make it a nice big round 25. Gotta run that on stream again. I had a disastrous stream on AM1 where I was trying to chill or SS one stick of RAM, and I didn't have any postcode display because it's an ITX board, is the best board for AM1. It was a bit of a clusterfuck. Keen to re-attempt that. Okay, my re-image is almost done. When was that? When was AM1? Stream 62. We're now on stream 132, I think. Literally half the lifetime of this of this stream ago of this channel. Okay. Let's go again. You got a 3D one, so 5800 X 3D. Okie dokes. Something's happening. That's a good chip for daily. Okay, let's give it a retry. Okay, so a little bit of a side grade. 5950X to 58X3D. Come on, rig. You can do it. I believe in you. An hour on and no benches ran. Definitely back to the same old form as before. Right. My password needs changing. Okay, this is my new password. Ready? I mean, you know, basically like typical Microsoft, you know, insisting on a password policy, but not insisting that the password has to be non-blank, is what I was gonna say. I'm about ready to swap the sticks, to be honest. Unfortunately. Most stable AM5 system. What could it, you know, what could it want? Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the sticks don't run stock anymore. Is this boot issue a common issue? No, literally never happened before. Then again, I just got this board, so I hope it's not the board. At least I have a beer here to entertain me. And you guys, of course. Anyone watching the NBA playoffs currently? I watched the Phoenix God, who were they even playing? Phoenix versus... Obviously a very memorable game if I can't even name both teams. It was in the West. It was Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns versus... It's not LA. Shit. Denver Nuggets. Okay, so that was just do not show again. La di da di da. Ooh, cool. We even have Verizon Master here. So now let's double check that there's no remove mem set. There isn't. Great. So yeah, Denver won pretty convincingly, and before that there was a game in the East which was Philadelphia versus Boston, and James. No, maybe I shouldn't spoil. Okay. If you haven't watched these games yet, then don't listen for the next 30 seconds. James Harden won the James Harden successfully took the game-winning three-pointer. These sticks are these came from Gigabyte as well. So you have they're like, I wouldn't call them ES, but they're blank PCB, like green PCB, early MDI, and they came from Gigabyte, and they're programmed with a 6800 SPD. Surely there's a way to look at SPDs in it. Yeah, here. So so week 33 2021, that's pretty early, right? If you consider Olole came out later that year. I mean, let's put it this way: I wouldn't use these in a comp. Like, they could be considered borderline ES. And they've got, I mean, obviously can't show it now, but some of the teeth are sort of a little bit, the gold is a bit tarnished on it and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that they're sort of a bit dodgy. Anyway, I mean, like, I don't want to defend my actions, don't get me wrong, but here comes the but. Don't all, like, if your benching sticks can boot at stock volts, you probably haven't pushed them hard enough yet. Like, a lot of my benching sticks can't boot at stock volts. You know, like, what is stock volt on DDR3? 1.35? I'd be shocked if my A0 B die that has seen, 2.15 volts would be all that happy at 1.35 volts. What do we want for load line turbo, I guess? PBO off, 50 clocks. Yeah, let's see if we can do 6200 with all the timings. M over A. I mean, okay, I don't know if you've run AM5 before. So, all right, so there's a tendency for people to run A die pretty much exclusively on Intel these days, and that's because Intel can do 8000 and like 9000 and like all kinds of crazy things. But on ambient, especially, AMD can really only do like 6600 max. So I'm not saying that there aren't A die sticks out there that can go really tight and low the same way that M die can, but I've certainly found it easier. And I only have one kit of A die to begin with, right? Whereas I have like 3 kits of M die. Whereas M die pretty consistently can do tight 6000, but it's probably much of a muchness in this particular case because I couldn't get below CL34 on this IMC earlier. So like pretty much any kit of DDR5 that isn't what's the really crap one, Micron, will probably be fine. Oh, CL50. Okay, I've got to do something about this. I've got to do something. I've got to just, that looks wrong. Yeah, but like you're talking retail sticks, right? Like every kit is different, but like, you know, in my very admittedly very like small sample size, I find that like ES sticks and, you know, manufacturers supplied sticks and things, they just tend to sort of degrade, not degrade, but they just tend to have wonky behavior either from the get-go or develop it much more readily and much earlier than retail. I could be totally off on this. It's just, that's just my sort of perception. What's a good Raz? I don't even know. 64. Just randomly. Let's try that. Oh, you're saying. Oh, okay. So you're saying that AM5 actually likes A die. I didn't know that. Worth a try then. Raz equals CL. Okay. That'll be the next thing I try. I mean, I don't know what the chip does, so I basically just want memory settings that aren't totally and utterly embarrassing. And then after that, I want to bin the cores. $15. Is that a good thing? That it's hanging on 15 for so long? Ugh. But I'm not even... okay, so you couldn't get 6400 going. This is the point where I swap sticks already. Not even having run. Oh, it's doing something. Not even having run a single bench. I'm out of beer before I run a bench. That's never a good sign. Okay. Time to swap sticks then. Jeez. Where is my DDR5 even? Here's my little box of tricks. So green PCB A die and my A. Why is there only one stick? Okay, this is my Galax A0 4266 DDR4 that I use pretty much for everything except stuff that needs A. No, this is my A2, sorry. Is it? No, this is my A0. Everything that needs A0. And then this is from the Corsair comp. My other M die, which is in great shape from all the Sub-Zero memory overclocking. Okay, A die it is then. I'm glad someone in the chat knows what they're talking about. I certainly don't in terms of AM5 overclocking. But hey, I've only just run this platform cold once and that was it. So now I have to finagle the sticks into the slots without taking off the cooler. Okay, you win, Noctua. I am taking off the fan at least. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got sort of a bit of like corrosion along here. Not corrosion, but de-golding of the finger. Is that what you'd call it? And I'm not going to learn my lesson because I'm still going to magic spray this these sticks anyway. The creature of habit. So while they dry, let's have a look at some scores. Yeah, but I don't even need to push that high on sock, do I? Okay. I hate Cinebench 20. What's a reasonable first bench? GPU Pi. Oh, I've got a score. Oh, an L2 score, so that's not very exciting. 4K. I'm a fan of 4K. You did what before all your memory valids? Magic spraying your sticks. So okay, chiller is not going to be. I'm not going to be in contention with chillers. This bland score looks pretty interesting. CL28, of course. Let's have a look at some of the subs in. Oh, Max is subbed. 416 on a formula. Very interesting. I see selection is key. So do we have a clue as to what I see he's using? This looks like hypers. 416 on a formula is really good. I did what was it? 425 or something on an extreme. Yeah, 424.28. Okay. It's like a Polaroid picture, you know? You think it's gonna dry better if you shake it, but it's an urban myth. Still some, I mean, let's slowly go for something here. That was weird. problem when you don't bench for a long time is you sort of, all the things that are annoying about benching become more annoying because you're not used to them anymore. You're not used to sort of coping with them, like this random stuff like RAM not clocking, OS dying. Whereas when you're in the thick of it, when you have a goal in mind and you've been doing benching, you know, 3 or 4 days a week, when you have yet another session that goes to shit because of this kind of thing, you just shrug your shoulders because you're just so used to it. But it's like sometimes it becomes, for me at least, like I have to ease back into benching because I just get triggered pretty quick. Like that's favorite sock as well. I'll have like 20 minutes of issues and I'll be like, I'm out. This is bullshit. Why was I ever into this? I'm not saying I'm getting there yet today, but it's like you have to watch. Like, I think the worst thing is to sort of press on when you sort of know that the session is over, or you know you're just not getting anywhere. I don't know, it depends. I suppose if you had a bench meet and it's the last day and you're not feeling it, but you know, whatever, you have like access to unlimited LN2, or you have people around you that are really good resources, or there's just some sort of kind of like factor external to you and your gear and your like setup and preparation that makes it a good idea to just press on, then that's another thing. But when it's just like a random weeknight, so often, not so often, but you know, quite often, I'll just be like, fuck this. Like, sort of like a table flip moment, and be like, right, I'm playing Xbox, or I'm watching a movie, or whatever else, because it just doesn't seem worth it. But then when you're in the groove, it's the opposite. You know, it's like nothing ever goes wrong, sort of thing. Like, I think it can happen with 2D, like 3D maybe even more so. Like, what is this? I'm setting the wrong timings. Maybe I just, this is just pathetic. Okay, for the sake of the stream, let's do 6,000. Like 3D, like especially like ambient benching, like cold 3D benching is can be pretty like draining. But ambient, it's like 4 hours a night every night of just finding little bits of efficiency here and there, and just learning what your cards can and can't do is really satisfying. The problem I have with that though is if I then a month later want to replicate it, I just have forgotten things, and my notes never seem to be good enough to like lead me back into that moment. Not ATI. Were you trying to do a 1 or what? Pretty sure the send timing is going to be too old. But we had a USB stick around here somewhere. Okay, so 2000 FCLK. Apply. What I'd like is will Rise and Master give me a temp display? Gonna have to get X265 onto this OS first anyway. X265, and bizarrely, very, very bizarrely, I find that GPU-Z is one of the best CPU monitoring utilities out there because it's just so light. Okay, so that USB is full for some reason. That's why I have a 128 gigabyte bench drive that I can't find. Mother fuck. Okay. It's copying over. We may actually run a bench soon. Believe it or not. It's okay, it's early. It's 7:30 p.m. here. Plenty of time. The only issue may be hunger. That's usually what ends my stream, is just wanting to have dinner, basically. It's a rare and I don't have any way to... Fuck. I hate being unprepared from a software perspective. It gets worse and worse as well with benches, because you kind of, it's not a space thing. You kind of have to leave them zipped so that, you know, the stupid overzealous Windows Defender thing that may or may not be enabled on the system that you may or may not insert the USB stick onto won't think that it's spyware and delete it. So you kind of have to keep it zip, but then maybe the bench system doesn't have 7-zip on it. You just can't win. You can do it, and then extracting takes so long. Like, we've added so many cores. I thought that zip and unzip was something that was like sort of infinitely parallelizable, but it still takes a long time for whatever reason. Just went back to 9,000 plus DDR5 testing. That's like, I don't know. That's like, the comparison I just came up with is, so you go for a run and you stumble, and you kind of twist your ankle a little bit. So you're like, screw this, I don't want to run anymore. It's too dangerous. Let's play Russian roulette. That's sort of the thought process there, because I take 3D over 9,000 plus RAM testing any day, but that's just me. Okay. Is this actually going to do something now? So here's what I mean with CPU monitoring. See how there's a really nice, really accurate, really lightweight CPU temperature display in GPU-Z? How is it hitting 80 degrees? I've got KPX under there. The hell? It is 7000 series, right? Isn't that optimized for running really, really high temperatures or something? Okay, let's try just a really dumb real-time run. Just, I don't know, just to see something happen. Okay, it didn't do that. Oh yeah. Time for the flat 5G run to save the day. Do I wait for it to come all the way back down to 35 degrees or something? Is that the secret? What are the... ...1080 died in storage, that sucks. Alright, so this is weird. Let's go more like 1.3 and make sure all the OCP and all that bullshit is disabled. Is there even an OCP setting? ...1080, you were trying to do 1080 like 3 micro 3 or something? At least my OS hasn't died again yet. It's always a silver lining, right? Okay. I mean, this is just turning into a bit of a joke, but okay. Is this even technically an overclock, like 5 gigahertz? I really don't get it. What the fuck is going on? Like these settings, it's the sort of thing that you just sort of set to just have a starting point. I was expecting to go like, okay, 5G, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. Okay, I'm literally just gonna run stock CPU, stock volts. Because I refuse to believe that 6000 C50 is the issue. But it's not even like, in order for the theory that it's cooling related to make any sense, the temps have to be high, and the temps aren't really high. It's more like it can't do the clocks, or it's OCPing or something. Of course, now we're 5.5 because it's like dynamic, whatever the fuck. Hey, pirate. I'm doing okay. I mean, the benching is going awful, but otherwise, I'm doing okay. I mean, maybe, yeah, I mean, like maybe Turbo LSC is a bit too much on AMD. I always thought Turbo was the safe choice everywhere, but I just haven't, like, what the fuck is going on with these modern platforms? I haven't really come across a scenario like this before where you don't have some ability to overclock ambient. Is it downclocking now? Why is it passing? Hey Shaggy, how was your session with Tag? I saw you got some results, like cold GPUs and stuff. Okay, so Blunt was at 55 FPS, not a million miles away actually. 25% difference. Okay, let's document our findings. Shit. So now that we know temps are going to be all right, we can go normal, overkill, off screen. Hey, kicks. So I see some Europeans are starting to wake up, which is always nice. While that's running, I'm just gonna get a beer because this one's very empty. I guess this is the new era of overclocking, right? Where you actually just don't overclock the CPU at all. Just RAM and tweaking, and that's it. As I search for my other flip flop. It's been about 5 months since the last stream, So that's a lot closer to what I was looking at earlier. So Bulance 55, this is 48. 48.6. I'll save it just in case everything goes to absolute crap. I mean, it's already gone to crap, you know, even worse. The rig doesn't start up again or something. I want to pull in my timings next. So I'll just quickly go to actually I'll try one thing. So I can tell my story. When Ryzen originally came out, so if you can think back to the time, basically 7700K was out on the Intel side, so only 4 cores, 8 threads. And this bench at the time hadn't been released for that long, I don't think. And the overkill option was, I think, also added at a certain point in time. So it wasn't always in the bench. So basically there was no awareness around the overkill option. Now we know that for high core count CPUs, I'd say 8 and above for sure. Like 8 with with SMT for sure. You want 2x overkill, but what people don't test as often is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8x overkill. And I was a big fan of Threadripper when it came out. So I think I might have been one of the first people maybe to use like 4x overkill on Threadripper, because that was the ideal platform for it, because it made perfect sense. Because weren't the early Threadrippers made of 2 NUMA nodes or something? So you were basically running 2x overkill per NUMA node. Oh, I mean, that's not a new thing. I mean, everything has problems with desynced overkill. So that's the drawback. So it's the more overkill you use, the harder it is to get a perfect run. But there's like sort of an ideal. See, we only have 16 cores and 4 cores per instances of overkill. Even if if you were to rerun it 10,000 times, it's probably too much overkill. So if any of the overkills that are over 2 were to work, I'd imagine 3x would. But I just wanted to try it anyway. And it's not terrible. Oh yeah, hi. Okay, so we'll try 3x. And what was that? Briefly owned a 3990X, like the first 64 core. And I think there we were running like 6x overkill or something. But yeah, story time, 5 months. So basically the whole thing around Country Cup was that we actually didn't know if we were going to like participate in Country Cup as Australia, but we did know that we were doing a bench meet, and it ended up being just a Raptor Lake bench meet. But there was sort of like the idea to have kind of like an sort of semi-coordinated score drop off of that. And it also would have been hard to sort of stream while Country Cup was on and like have to talk about it in vague terms. So basically from Country Cup announcement until now, I haven't streamed. Just busy with the bench meet, and then obviously like had some people visit me from abroad at Christmas, New Year's. Now I had to move to a new place, and like this is quite literally as early as I could stream because I only just got my bench room like in order yesterday and today pretty much, or Sunday and today. Like I didn't even have the desk properly set up with all the cable management and all of the monitor arms and all that. Any benefit to one dim per channel? So the IMC scales with cold. So all of the results you sort of see with like 7,000 plus and stuff. That's on cold IMC. So ambient, I don't know. Could be a bit of a benefit or not. Cheers, by the way. My little tiger beer. But cold, I could see it doing better. Even if you look at Bulant's score, like CL28, I don't know if a 4-dimmer would necessarily be all that good at doing that. I think I'll go up a memory divider first and see what the gains are from that. They have that in Germany, you know. It's called Frühschoppen. You have a beer with your breakfast, pretty much, or your lunch, let's say. So you're allowed. You have my approval. Nice. Okay, so 6200, pretty clean boot there, but auto timing, so can't be like too jubilant about that. Okay. So we try to keep normal and then overkill 1x. But I found I mean I haven't run this board cold yet, but I'd imagine it'd be better than I had a Strix board. It was at launch it was the cheapest board with a post display that I could find, and it was okay cold, but yeah, wasn't great. So what else has Bulant got going on? Is this accurate FCLK, or is that just bullshit? U-clock. Great. I could still sync mine. I think mine is like half at the moment, so might have some gains from that. 47 from 48.6. Probably just run to run variance, but I'll try that. We'll see if we can sync ours. Come on, BIOS. Yeah, here we go. Probably not going to post. AMD, if you're listening, what is this 15 postcode means everything bullshit? 15 postcode means bored dead. It means I'm gonna post. It also means stuck forever. Ah, Kix has got the sleepy crosshair out. Haven't seen that in a while. And we have a boot. Okay, so we've got it synced up. I don't know if that does anything, but I mean, why not? It's crazy how hot this bench room. Like, it's not actually isn't hot in here right now, but like it's like probably like 5 degrees outside, and still somehow it's like 20 here, just because of one light, well, 2 lights and 3 rigs. Ooh, one of the instances died, or that's dodgy. Got to restart. Let's restart. Let's reopen actually. I mean, the postcodes for AM3 are pretty nice, and AM3 Plus just all went downhill from there. Okay, we'll let it run. It's yeah, it's a bit choppy, but it's looking like a pretty good average. A bit desynced though. Funnily enough, the instance that didn't even look like it was going to start at the beginning is now ahead of the instance that ran from the beginning. Yeah, that's like 6% of desync. Is it even going to let me sub that? Yes. 48.5. That's... Okay, let's just give it a rerun. What a... So... Bullan used normal as well, so I don't think normal disadvantages anyone. Try 6400 and then I'll set some timings. What was missing from my recap earlier actually was I was doing some 13600 as well. XTU. It's quite interesting. So that's my good chip. If it would load. I couldn't... The session ended pretty quickly. I can't remember what happened there, but I definitely need to rerun it because I'm only less than 200 points behind first and 100, but I didn't max. It's the problem with Harbobot where you don't have to enter your E-core frequency. I didn't max my E-cores, so if I had maxed my E-cores, I think I have a good chance of first. Oh, Sebi's in the chat. Sorry, Sebi. Do you have backups? Should I rerun this? Don't make me rerun this and then you just pull a backup out of your hat. 48.8. I mean, it's barely an improvement, but let's just save it out of just for my files sort of thing, posterity. What can you say? You can either say you have a backup or not. It's okay. I'll rerun it anyway. I mean, maybe you never know. Like people think into these things a little bit too much, because if you were now to say you had a backup, does it? I mean, if I get a good run out, it might just be the backup. Like is it a 5-point backup? Is it a 200-point backup? It's not going to be a 1,000-point backup, I don't think. I don't know. DDR5 or DDR4 Pi Prime? I mean, I don't know why I'm asking. I hate Pi Prime. It's one of my least favorite benches. I was put in charge of Pi Prime efficiency testing for a previous country cup like 2 years ago, and I wanted to pull my hair out. It was horrendous. It was like Ryzen only. I think I had okay efficiency on the 5700G, and then I popped in a 5800X, and it was like hundreds of milliseconds off for no particular reason. It was just crazy. Okay, this is not happening. Hang on 36 is not a good thing. And like Pi Prime is weird because it's sort of, it should be a globals bench, but it ends up being a hardware points bench, separated out according to DDR generation, which means, in my mind, it means it's more likely to be retaken by someone if you take it than like W prime 32M on an E80 700. There's just so many of those. Hello, Rig. I know you gave me a couple of runs, and that was very generous of you, but I'd actually like to set memory timings on one of the runs. That would be good. I mean, I know I'm asking for a lot, but is that an option? Ooh, it's reset. Load. New. Ah, I saved instead of loaded. Okay, well that's just all on me. So 6200. Clock equals time clock. Auto everything. Yeah, this whole discussion about how DDR4 is, forever going to be best in pipe prime or whatever, I think is all a bit overblown. I don't believe in it. But there's no globals anyway, so who gives a fuck? Like just bench both categories. Basically, is what it comes down to. Okay, it almost booted then, and it didn't. The fuck. Okay, well, that was random. So Sebi, what FCL did you see FCLK scaling at all on 7000 series? And if so, what FCLK is realistic on ambient? Okay, this should be over 50 FPS, surely. Yeah, we have Yi on the stream as well. Right, over 50. I called it. Did we get there? 50.8? No. The desync. The desync caused it to be under 50. The individual threads were both over 25, but the desync 49.76. That's pretty rough. I'm very tempted to just rerun that. $20.33. So basically the same FCLK as AM4 did. Okay, just for not Zen states, Zen timings. Okay, so we're already at 2000. Yeah, what a mess. So Raz can do the same as Kaz. And then let's do 50 TRC. Yeah, let's give it a go. Oop, might be doing something. Is that a boot? I think it might be a boot. Now, will it pass? That's a different matter, isn't it? Just get dishing out some rolls. There's a new role on Twitch called artist. Who wants to be an artist? It's running, but it's looking like really bad performance. Why is it down at 23? Okay, now we're getting places, but is it too late? Oh no, that is 50? Wow. What's going on with this incredible Hetzner hosting on Hyperbot? So fast. Much browse. So my previous best was 36, so at least I've beaten that. That was on a 12900K with the E-cores. Oh, beat Char on a 5950X is always good. I don't know what Spit was doing. Okay, so Arsenino is beat. Spit on SS will be next, potentially. Alright, let's try. Well, I'm trying to remember. DDR5 TRFC. 420. No, RTP needs like 14 or something. Let's try 24. Let's just be optimistic. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stomach another bench after this. Maybe one and done on 4K, but 4K is a good bench. You know, you can watch a video while it's going on, and just these modern that's the one thing you can never take away from Raptor Lake is that it just overclocks like absolute crazy. Oh, you uploaded your backup. Well, that's very nice. So 11,955 becomes, drum roll please. Okay, 200 points or 170 points. That's kind of what I thought would happen. That's really not, you're not giving away a lot of information by uploading that, because that's kind of just what I assumed would exist somewhere out in the ether, either by Loud or by yourself, or even Shar. Let's just quickly check send timings to make sure that nothing funky is going on. Fall is set, or see 135 milliseconds is actually not even that bad. Has anyone even bothered to mess with like Gear 4 and all that craziness on AMD? I assume not, because you know no one ever gives a fuck about AMD. Like, it's so funny, when an Intel platform launches, there'll be like a legit Cinebench 2003 score that people actually kind of tried for. And then when an AMD platform, to contrast with that, when an AMD platform launches, it'll be like, okay, we're running just the global benches. Doesn't exist. What doesn't exist? Cinebench 2003. Oh, Gear 4. Fair enough. Yeah, it just seems so totally hard capped. Oh, that was a big jump. $51.185. It's pretty good. That's I guess rid of a lot of the riffraff. Is that the top Intel score? That'd be so fun to be the top Intel score. Oh, that Adventure Poe is I don't know. That's probably like miss. That's like the um, automatic detection of X265 being a bit adventurous. Yeah, so 5.3 is the actual. Oh, he's gone low and tight. Look at that, 28, 34, 34. Interesting. Yeah, we'll keep it in mind. But 52.46 could be very interesting target to aim for. I'll start including Zen timings. Fuck it. But I have to wait for my CPU Zs to open, or else the power table is locked or whatever. Come on, CPU. Like, how many decades have benchers faced the massive challenge of waiting for a fucking CPU Z window to open? Or them conflicting with one another, or not opening, or not showing certain info. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. Here we are in 2023. Got 60, what is it? 32 threads on the CPU, but it's still slow at opening CPU Z. Dual rank. Okay. Yeah, dual rank has always been like an interesting thing in 4K. Like even Beta A2 dual rank was pretty strong. $26.36. Keep in mind, I'll keep tightening my secondaries and things. Trying to get back into this. I've been doing that 3700X and 5900X. I sort of have DDR4 in my brain. And there's not much down here, is there, to no, it's very bench dependent though. Still. Where did these go 4-4, don't they? Am I totally misremembering that? I thought they go 4-4 on DDR4 as well as DDR5. We're about to find out. Can I up the volume? I actually can, yeah. Check 1, 2. It's showing like borderline like red on my side now though, so I don't know, did that go up too much now? Because if I go up any higher, it's gonna start distorting and stuff. 36 is not a good code. Okay, lots better. Cool. I wonder if the retry button is ever actually worth using here. We'll do one retry. 11. Now that's a new one. All right, time for the old clear CMOS. It's all right. I'll do 6-4. 6-4 sounds like something that should work. I'm not sure I'm a fan of how long it takes for this thing to boot though, or to post. Okay, now something's happening. If the board is weird. Aren't all boards weird in one way or another? It's funny how the fan stops at this point in the post process as well. Oh, it's because it just clicked off. That makes sense. Why did it click off? That's it. It's refusing to work. It's done. I mean, the 1st of May wasn't so long ago, right? Isn't that the day you're supposed to go out, fight for your like labor law rights? $36 again. Yeah, 0-0. That wouldn't be so fun. I mean, if it's the chip, it's just an RMA, right? Like, I'm not even. There wouldn't even be a guilty conscience about it. Black button equals CMOS. Mental note. Because this is just literally stock vCore, so it'll just be a pain. All right, so 6-4 no go. Surely 8-4 works. I mean, absolute worst case scenario, maybe something like 8-6. I might pull in cast next. I'll try 37s for the middle timings. Oh, so the 24 gig sticks are MDA. I didn't know. It's kind of interesting. It's just crazy. It's just gotten so insane. Like on DDR3, we would run 4 gigs of RAM and pretty much use all 4 gigs of RAM. Then early DDR4 we ran, 8 gigs of RAM and pretty much used most of those 8 gigs of RAM. Then BDI came around. Now we're setting remove mem, setting maps mem basically, and using like 2 gigs of RAM out of 16. Right, let's try 37s first. If 24 gig sticks become a thing for benching, we'll be using like 2 gigs of RAM out of 48 gigs of RAM. Okay, surely this will work. Okay, why is the fan clicking off again? I don't like where this is going. Even lighter on IMC than 8i. How's it even arranged? Like, how do you make 24 gigs of RAM? Is it 12 aside, or is it just ultra high density and just on one side of the stick? I haven't been keeping up, as you can tell. Okay, so it's still single-sided, like the same as regular MDI. Okay, this is looking kind of AA. AA is a good code, isn't it? Oh, 00, yay. A great success. Nice, okay. I think I might do a few reruns here just to make sure I'm getting the best of it. Even though it is kind of annoying how... Yeah, what's the TDP on this chip? It's just interesting how taxing it ends up being. It's what they say about modern chips, right? Is they're just maxed out of the box. So they have high TDP, very optimized voltage curve and frequency curves. Come on, first instance. Yeah, there we go. 10B. What's been going on just in these like 5 months? I know Antitux. I've seen some go live notifications for Antitux. Has there been any streaming going on that I should know about? Basically. I mean, at least the cost has gone down on kits, right? Like, I was stupid enough to buy MDI kits when they were 600 Australian dollars a pop, and that's for only quote unquote 32 gigs of RAM. Well, that was a terrible run. But imagine 48 now or 64. Oh, Antitux has been busy. $1,000 for Sammy DDR5 sounds a bit steep. All right. That dip in the middle just seems so big. And that's where the threads desync as well, which is 50.6. Oh yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, okay, it sort of makes sense that middle timings don't do much. Oh, am I gonna miss it? Close call. I hate this laggy bias. Okay. 30. $88 US. I gotta bin some 8i. I hate memory binning though. I really just can't stand it. Especially DDR5 has sort of upped the complexity compared to 4 and 3. Come on, post little system. I just want. I feel like I'm behind the Intel score by 1 FPS, so that's like 2%. Like if you can't squeeze 2% out when you need it, what kind of bencher are you really? DDR5 is, I mean, it's given us, undeniable gains in the performance department, but in terms of benching, it's just an absolute nightmare. That looks like it might be a post. The Fs and then the 70 is usually a good sign. I kind of like how there's spoke too soon. Give us 32 at least. I like how the postcode display has a little like perspex window type thing on top of it. I don't really know. Like, it just looks cool. I don't know if it's really got a function. Are you really trying to protect the postcode display from what? Okay, it's doing it earlier, but it's going through the same codes it just went through. So does that mean it's a successful post? Under 1.8 VDD. Why that in particular? Is that just, will it kill your IMC if you go higher, or is it too much heat buildup on the DIMMs, or what's the idea? Alright, so we've got that. Let's do it. Wait for the fans to spin down. Yeah, binning target. Is that air on the sticks? As much as I hate Win 11 for benching purposes, I might have to set one up just to see how it goes in X265, because Bulan has 11 going for 4K. There's got to be a reason for it. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing Cold DDR5, it was on 12th gen, so the targets were a bit different. It was like, oh, try and get 7800 CL28. Okay, well, faster than previously, but still not as good as the previous fastest run. Let's go again. I think 10,000 benchable will be an interesting time, and we're probably not as far away from it as we think. Saying that though, like we're by all accounts we're going into a lull in terms of tech in the next couple of years. They say there's going to be a Raptor Lake refresh and then Meteor Lake. Some people are saying it's like mobile only. Others are saying, yeah, it's coming to desktop, but it's 6P cores only. That's a bit weird. So next couple of gens on Intel are looking a bit suspect. But on AMD side, they're just going to milk. Like, I think the 5000 series was milked for a long time, wasn't it? Didn't the 5000 series go like late 2019 until end of 2022? Like, it was like a 2-year gen or something. And then the 7000 series, yeah, okay, you've got you've got your DDR5, you've got the fact that there's more X3D chips now, there isn't the IPC, but it's not, besides the fact that it is what it is, which is, new socket, new DDR generation, there's not more level 3 cache, different manufacturing process. Like, it's got like innovations that aren't innovations, if you get me. Like, the actual core architecture itself doesn't seem all that different. It's just everything around it. Like it's got the sort of like cheap wins, the quick wins, like, oh, more cache, higher thermal target, smaller manufacturing process, higher stock clocks. It's got all those little things that are just, if I don't want to be too harsh, but if you were a chip designer and it was Friday afternoon and the CEO rang you and said, we need 10% IPC uplift, those are the things that you do, because they're just quick and cheap and easy. Okay, I'm gonna just force disable these two just to see what happens with them. Probably not a lot. They're probably already off. What's a CKD? Yeah, but I mean, okay, so like, yeah, there's always the possibility that the RAM overclocking in IMC is a lot better, but I'm just saying, like, Raptor Lake refresh is not gonna have better IPC, most likely. Late 2020 to late 2022. That's still a 2-year cycle, though, right? And it's not necessarily like, what you did get with the 7000 series was like, it's now good in Y Cruncher. There's things to be excited about. I'm not complaining. Like, they're good evolutions. But everyone always talks about Zen 5. Like, in the past there's been hype around, even Polaris and Vega and stuff, like, had multiple years of leaks and hype and stuff going on. But sometimes there's hype around something because it's actually going to be good. And I get the sense that Zen 5 might be one of those. Because yeah, they're due for. I mean, they're also due for one of those. You know, like Zen 1 was that. Zen 3 to a certain degree was that. I mean, like Zen Plus was kind of funny because nobody had any expectations whatsoever, and actually was like a pretty good improvement. Like for a talk, let's say, it was a pretty good improvement. Oh yeah, there was mid cycle stuff, but like, you know, X3D. I always think about everything in terms of just benchability, and like X3D was just a total non-event, and like OEM chips usually are as well. But yeah, getting back on sort of topic. We've got a 26 run. But this desync is so massive that it's actually not even that good of a run. I don't think Bilko. So when I had a bench session with Bilko, he was testing this on his 7950X. And I don't think he subbed. I don't see him. Let's filter by Oceania, because that's the only thing that matters. Oh, he still has Threadripper as his best 16x. Okay, so Bob's down. Zarok is down. Spit is down. 55 is pretty damn good though. Yeah, that'll be tough. Yeah, 5000 series APUs. So the next thing to improve my benching will be, I think I need to get like my eyes checked. I need to get contact lenses or glasses or something. Because the reason I say that is because earlier on I was trying to get a chip I sold, like a binning reject, ready to be sold and like shipped out. And I was looking at the pins on the underside, and I could tell that it looked different. But I think I'm so far I'm not that far-sighted, but I'm far-sighted enough now compared to what I used to be, that holding a chip with pins in front of my face like this, an AM4 chip, a 3700X, I couldn't actually tell that the pin was missing. I could see that there was a location where it looked different, and more than likely the pin was missing, but I couldn't actually focus my eyes that close. So that's old age for you. Basically. Right, what's even the next thing we can do? We can. Do I want to push sock? Does sock really help memory free? I mean, I would assume it helps memory frequency, but does it really? Like, do I give sock another 50 millivolts and really try to train 6400? Hey, I wanted to go to BIOS. That's why I've been smashing the delete button for all of this time. I really should put that, there's like this shortcut, go to BIOS, that you can set up in Windows. I should have that on all my benching OSs. I think it would improve my experience quite a bit. Yeah, I'm not going to type the command. I mean, at that point, I'd rather be smashing the delete button. I'd put a shortcut on desktop or start menu or something. At some point in the process, my fucking tertiaries got wiped out. Well, that explains a lot. I was like, why am I not at the 51? So dumb. Okay. Okay, 400. RTB. Let's try 14. Okay, those I didn't end up setting. Okay, let's try that again. Shit. Oh, and I've got the fucking apply bug again. What? It makes no sense. So it was stable enough to go into BIOS. It was stable enough to select settings in BIOS, but then it's not stable enough to apply them. Okay. Oh, it's sort of kind of like apply them anyway. Let's try again. Okay, this time it worked. Great. Okay, looks like a post. Let's do this. Let's beat Intel LM2 on 6200 RAM and 4K on an air cooler AMD. Let's do it. I'm ready. It's just quickly have a look in Zen timings. That looks 129. Okay. That all looks quite reasonable. So what do you guys think about AM5? Like, it got a lot of slack for really expensive boards and stuff. Like, I think the prices in Australia have dipped a lot. I think this chip was like 1,000 at launch, and now I got it for like 550 used already. So I don't know, like the reception has been like lukewarm, but then again it came out at a time where people weren't buying desktops basically because they all bought them during the pandemic. I mean, Raptor didn't have a good reception for daily either, right? Like, people talked about Raptor as being really hot and stuff, which is exactly what you want for benching. So it's like, when it's a funny situation where both vendors have had big leaps and people haven't been happy about it, kind of. I don't know. Hi, Paladin. Good to see you again. How are you doing? Okay, this is a 52 FPS, right? Almost. Almost. I want a 52 though. I want a 52. So where's our Intel? Oh, someone subbed an X3D, which is probably really good in this bench. Why am I blind? Where's Shintel? There we go. 5246. Okay, I'll save it. I'll save it. $5,300. You running 5300G daily, or you're benching that currently? I want to go back to that actually. I have third in the world, I think, on mine, but I had to bench it at like minus 160, and now I have the modded bias on the Unify X, so I want to go back to it. I think the chip is, my efficiency was off actually, but okay, I need to add the Zen timings. I think my chip might be good enough for it, but I have to like work on my efficiency, get it to full pot, and then just hope and pray. Like White Shark is a funny bencher because like he doesn't bench a lot, but when he benches, he puts out a really good score. Like was the 980 GTX 980 or something on full out LM2, and this 5300G global first. Yeah, where did I get mine? I got mine on AliExpress. I'm quite the fan of like AliExpress at this point. I mean, I bought 100 Phenom 965 Black Editions from there, pretty much, with very few exceptions. Yeah. Yeah, and there was even bundles with M5 and DDR4, right? Just to like spice up the deal a bit, sort of thing, which doesn't make any sense, but yeah. I don't think I paid that much for it. Okay, so we've got our first 47, our 27 FPS run. That's pretty hype. 52.1. 52.1. Nice. Well, that's getting saved. So that's just so close. So I want to beat Scalator. Zippy and Loud. Adventure Poe, yeah. I don't know if Loud is going to happen, but see, win 11 again. How are people getting 20? Oh, invalid. Oh no, just like an benching on ultra light, wide, like a complete maniac. Strix 3032. Yeah, a lot of win 11 happening, but is that just people being lazy or is it actually faster? That's always what you have to ask yourself these days in on Harbor. Okay, I'll set my RDs and stuff. Okay, I'm looking up the price of this 5300G. My order is 5300G. Yeah, I did pay 250 Aussie for it. Sorry, I paid, yeah, so 230 plus tax and shipping. Okay, let's save our profile. Nah, I don't want to set that. Okay, like something just totally random, like 12 and 6. Yeah, a lot more globals with the 12100F, but when you compete for rankings like me, like you just have both, basically. So it's not really a value proposition. It's like, does this chip give you the chance of a global first? Yes or no? If yes, spend, money on it. What do I even want to set anymore? I mean, RAS one step lower. Let's see if it does 2100. GPU Pi. Only GPU Pi. I mean, ever since the very beginning, I remember benching 1800X GPU Pi for 8-core globals, and it beat the the X299 chip, the Skylake X chips, which was the 7820X, I think. And then there still wasn't, because then the 8700K came out, which only had 6 cores. So it was still Skylake X versus the 2700X. So again, clearly AMD won. Eventually, you had the 9900K. I still don't think it was better in GPU Pi than 2700X at the time, and certainly not 3700X, 3800X. So like GPU Pi, ever since the release of, I mean, you could go even further back, I guess. Like, if people didn't have the money for 5960X, then maybe FX would have been the thing. What did I even set just now? I lowered something. Oh, just the RAS, okay. And don't get me wrong, I like benching the locked alders, but it's like an acquired taste, like that whole thing of lowering the memory multipliers so you can get the BCLK up and all that. Whereas, as soon as you have full pot on a 5300G, you can just go to town. I don't know if that little skip at the beginning is good or bad for the bench. Soft rebooting on the lock chips, you mean? Yeah, you have to like ladder up the BCLK again, don't you? I didn't have very much success at all on my 12100F. Like, I got like 50 megahertz more on LN2 than on Chiller, but my G7400 seemed all right. Like, it sort of did like 6G and Cinebench and stuff. I'm not saying that's like all that great anymore now that Splave or whoever probably has like a 6.4, 6.5G chip, but at the time, at least, like, I was seeing scaling from ambient to LN2, and it was an okay score at the time. I benched it. 52 flat, and my best was 52.1. I think often on Ryzen the second run is best, or not necessarily the second run, but certainly the first run is not the best. So a subsequent run will be the best. Yeah, that was the other thing. I couldn't really. You could never really be absolutely certain. Like, I mean, I run other locked chips like Semprons and stuff, and you have a better sense of, okay, now I had a crash due to too high memory. Now I had a crash due to core. Now I had a crash due to BCLK. But on older, I didn't have that many sessions, but I felt like you just get a blue screen and retry because you didn't really have an idea of what was going on. This is looking like, well, quite a desync run at least. What's ICE DD? Yeah, it just keeps doing the same thing over and over again. I'll give it another 50 millivolts on SOC and try to get 6.4. I find it so insane that people direct die solder chips. Like, you know, all the Facebook posts about extreme overclocking, all the Twitter threads, and all the, you know, Anantech articles or whatever, Tom's Hardware articles. People always make that dumb comment of, "Oh, but does this apply to daily use cases? This is kind of dumb. Why do people do it?" And I suppose it's sort of justified, but then at the same time, people daily overclock direct die. Like, I wouldn't do that. I think that's just like a risk. I mean, do whatever you want with your money and your hardware. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, I'd rather have like 15 cold sessions full pot all out on a 3900K than direct diet daily, you know? Oh, hi, Carter. How are the mods going on your cards? You didn't miss much. Basically just a bit of 4K on the 7950X, which is a little bit depressing because basically I don't seem to have a cooling method good enough to actually overclock the chip, so I'm just overclocking memory right now. Yeah, if you ever need more cards, let me know. I have too many spares. If I ever buy one of those mining boards with you know, like 16 PCIe slots, I'll run 16-way 580 GTX 580s because I have that many cards probably. Problem is switching between daily and LN2. You mean mentally, or you're saying you're using your daily hardware on LN2 and it's annoying having to put it back into a case or whatever? I think you sold me 460s. I have some 460 gigabytes. Okay, so that's not working, but what about the old trick from about 20 years ago, 101 BCLK? Yeah, doing that on the same rig is not great. Okay, so I'm now peckish enough to dig into my Aussie Icon, the Jats biscuit or cracker, I suppose. I'm pretty good. I think it's posting. ASMR. I'm not a foodie. Never been. I think I'm closer to being like a drinky than a foodie, you know, like for whatever reason I feel I kind of get fancy drinks more than I get fancy food. Like my favorite, not my favorite food, but one of my favorite foods is porridge. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it looks gross, tastes gross. Why do you bother with it?" But I like it. Whereas, you know, a nice cocktail or a nice glass of wine, I can appreciate that to some degree. Bye, Carter. Good luck with the studies, Sevi. Thanks for dropping by. Is this faster? 26. That's the only thing with X265 is it's not as predictable. Like at least 3D, you can look at start frame, end frame, average frame. X265, you can kind of see, are they desynced or not? You can maybe open like some clock monitoring in the background if you're concerned about that, but otherwise it's a bit of pot luck. It's looking low though. Well, it would help if I actually showed you the progress bars I'm looking at. So we've got a 27 and a 26.2. That's horrendous desync. So straight rerun there. I have a better feeling about this run. But that's not saying much because usually the second run is better than the first run. Yeah, still not. I don't know. I'm starting to sort of think that maybe I should try different priorities just to see if it helps the desync along a bit. Like that's drop into the 23s is not great. Real time, I don't know. Real time usually adds more desync, but you will get that 1 in 20 runs that will really pop off. Let's give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? It's not looking bad yet, but it's probably also already too early in the run to really make some sort of judgment. Okay, it's horrendous. Never mind. Well, I mean, that was 101. Yeah, both CDs at the same clock. Yeah, very high is probably a good choice there. I'll try that next. I'll see if I can do, 102 BCLK or whatever. So this house is a pretty old house. So I already I don't know how this is such a big like topic of conversation or whatever, but my old house had really bad power quality, is how I put it. So the chiller would click on and all my screens would flicker off. Like there was something seriously wrong, like a missing ground or something. And I think it hurt my overclocks a bit as well. Like there was one point where I benched at Dinos's house and then I went home with the same chip and the same board and I lost 200 megahertz. And I was kind of suspicious because if anything, my mounts were better at home than there. I don't know if this place is any better. Like the knock on this room is it's only got 2 wall sockets. So I'm already at this point running that camera off a long extension lead. And I plan to maybe run chillers as well, like from another room. Because as it stands, I have something like 14 things plugged into 2 sockets. And eventually it's just gotta give, So I'm nearly at the 6400 it wouldn't post via VCLK. It's like this ancient trick from 20 years ago, just trick the system into thinking you're running a different mem clock to what you actually are running. Yeah, 1080p much easier to keep synced in general than 4K, and then certainly real time. I mean, in a vacuum, in a perfect world, let's say, where you have infinite reruns, real time would be fastest everywhere pretty much. But it's just the syncing that's a problem. Okay, so 102 BCLK, whatever the boost algorithm is, probably it was a bit too much for that. I don't know about this generation, but in general, I'd expect a blue screen or a hang for memory issues and a reboot or a shutdown for core. Seemed like core at that point, so I've gone to 101.5. I mean, I could get really fancy and start editing like PBO curves and bullshit like that, but yeah, I'm not that try hard. It's gone further already, I think. One stuck thread. again. Even earlier stuck. I'll do 101 very high. And then that might be the end of the stream. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Ginger. I hope you have the better half watching as well, you know. Introduce her to some culture. 101. Oh, so the FCLK being raised from 2000 to 2100 actually worked. And I never noticed. Oh, hi, better half. Wondering what the fuck. Well, wait until you watch an LN2 stream. This is nothing. All right. We've got a boot. Okay, so let's double check and send timings that we have, or FCLK that we claim to have. That's interesting. And now wait for the temperature onslaught that is Harbobot X265 launch. What's this bench table joke? Is it safe for work? It's not even really a joke, is it? That's just reality of a bench table. That's pretty much, I mean, I need more sockets than that because of streaming. I need about 8 for benching, 8 for streaming pretty much. All right, let's do a run very high. Let's do 2 runs at that setting. All sounds like gibberish to you. It's just overclocking. This is what everyone does. Yes, 200 FPS. Let's sub it. Oh no, this is to 1080p. Fair enough. Okay, now that we ran the wrong preset, we may as well sneakily just save that and I don't know, get 5 points for it or something. Okay. Very high. Ooh, start over 30. Like significantly over 30. That'd be really interesting actually if there was a way of like getting telemetry out of X265, you know, like getting a graph of FPS and then you know you do 5 runs at very high, 5 runs at normal, and then see basically like treat it like a 3D bench and being like, okay, so like subtest 1 is better at this and this priority and subtest 2 is better at this and this priority, and then basically like work out the weighting. I mean, there is no weighting, but you know, work out what percentage of the test each quote unquote subtest makes up to decide which priority is actually optimal rather than just like trial and erroring it like this. Well, that was horrendously desynced. Not a terrible score though. Give it another rerun. Okay. It's subjectively it's looking better, but yeah, I don't know. It's certainly looking more synced. I don't know about the score looking better, but it's looking more synced. As one thread pulls away, no, it doesn't. It's just that the progress bars are really quantized. They only move in big steps, and they're out of step with one another. I want to say it's looking good, but then yeah, not really. Both in the 26s. Getting there. Getting there. What's left to try? Not Rise Master, Benchmate. Let's finish off the stream with just one more bench of some description. Geek. It's gotta be Geek. Fuck Benchmate. It's gotta be Geek Bench. Let's do it. Sorry, just getting my key from somewhere. And then hopefully not going to reveal it on stream. If I can help it. Yeah, from now on I'm going to show this cam because I just got to quickly install Geek. Not that anyone's going to steal my key, but you know, better safe than sorry. Okay, we're all registered. Just give it a relaunch so it doesn't say tryout anymore. Okay. Highlighted message, fuck Benchmate, mate, let's do Geek. Yeah, exactly. I'm so against it. Like, I was looking at that list of benches and it's like Y Cruncher, Puke, Cinebench 20. I hate using electricity and my precious time and my precious hardware to render a fucking couch. I just can't stand it. So Geek 3, of course. Which Geek? Oh, 6 is the latest version, but Geek 3 is the one with the points. Okay, so over 100k looks good, but let's actually have a little look to see what the global situation looks like. For that, we need to go here. Let's have a look at what my current personal best is. It's probably on Threadripper, 12900k. So it's 106k, so it's already beaten, so that's good. And it's on 12900k, 6.7 gigahertz. So LN2, LN2, LN2. So 125 is the highest sort of, you know, somewhat achievable score. Ooh, we've got Sebi here. That's a good target. Spit. It's always good to beat Spit. How about we finish off the stream beating Spit? Oh, that's really loose memory, but okay. Let's quickly save off just a little what's the global situation like? Okay. So what's that? 112k, not downloads, but desktop. I feel like 200 BCLK or 102 BCLK might actually be more achievable in Geek than, because it's such a quick bench compared to, you know, 4K. Okay, let's, should we be cheeky and like just keep on auto? What about 50? Okay, 55 flat is not a go. Okay, let's try 102. $13K, really? I didn't even look at that. Yeah, DDR5 is like a cheat code, isn't it? Like 13K on DDR4 was pretty brutal undertaking. Cold everything. Okay, so let's make a new profile. Oh, that was only, was that only 101? Let's do 102 Geek. Let's see how that goes. I mean, it posted earlier, so I'm not expecting any surprises. I don't think there's real-time memory timings on M5. I'd be tempted to like sneakily try and like get to CL28 or something real-time rather than at post. We don't even have a Geek shortcut out, do we? Here we go. Nah, this is so quick on 16 core. If it's gonna fail, it'll be on Dijkstra. Call it. Let's maybe give it a rerun. Okay. Let's go 101.5. Rerunning, it's essential. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if somebody could do that, but it's a lot of work because there's no like API or whatever. Like, you would have to sort of like screen scrape the bench or something. There's no GTL for this board, so yeah. I was gonna say I could sort of try for NOS BCLK. Yes, no, yes. That was looking very dodgy for about half a second there. Is it gonna score well though? What was the last one? 117? 100. So, oof. So it's still 112. So that half BCLK didn't really give us any, like 300 points or something. Yeah, 80 here and 1,002 here. Yeah, I mean, it's doing stuff. Okay, let's just make some sort of attempt at setting a flat OC here and seeing what that gives us. Manual. Oh, Geek would love FCLK though. Let's see if we can get a bit of FCLK going. I think on the 5900X when I had that cold, I just couldn't get Geek because it was like, okay, I have 5.5 core, but only 1600 FCLK, and someone else was at like the optimal temperature with like 1900 FCLK, and it was just unbeatable. Let's do 2200. I mean, we're getting it's a bit pathetic because I'm still not really overclocking the core. I mean, the BCLK doesn't that then add to the boost algorithm, so I'm technically 1.5% overclock now, but yeah, everything else is sort of, I think it'd be an exaggeration to say it's coming together, but it's at least it's moving in some sort of direction. That is positive. Oh, it's showing 0, 0. I'm going to put that in my notes that 0, 0 means too high FCLK. That could be an interesting thing to know. All right, just give it a quick retry. Not 0-0 now. $42. Okay. I'll try like, I'll keep stepping down. I'll try like 41.66, 41.33. And if all else fails, I can maybe tighten other timing somewhere. See if I can get 113K. I don't know. It's weird. Geek is known as this big memory bench, but like, yeah, I'm not sure if that's really the case in this particular scenario at the moment. Come on, system. You can do it. Just a few more minutes until it posts. Take your time. 90 something. Yes, I'm aware the BIOS has been reset. You gave me no other. Oh, now it's randomly hung again. Gave me no other choice. Okay, so I do a load. BCLK is correct. What's the worst that could happen? Hang on 15 is as has been happening for the last 3.5 hours. Still hanging on 15. For a that's not a code I've seen recently. Okay. All right, there's one more FCLK step left. That was 2200 fail, 2166 fail, 2100 pass and bench. Let's try 2133, which is just, does it strap off of BCLK? Like, is it actually being misreported? I always thought FCLK was a strap off of BCLK, so why do I remember seeing in OS that I was still reporting 2100 flat, even though I was running, 101 and 101.5 BCLK? I'm a bit skeptical of this whole endeavor. Okay, load her up. It's quite interesting, actually. I'm looking at Ovez's score, who I, for no reason at all, don't really like. And he seems to be, he must be getting a lot from integer and floating point because his memory is poor. So it's just like on a 6400 profile with, I mean, the primaries look all right, but there must be something else that's not set at all, because to lose 800 points to me on, you know, also essentially 6400, it's interesting. I wonder what his FCLK is. Does valid links don't show that, do they, in on Geek? So just all the subtests and just useless information, that's it. Fair enough. So we're currently sort of half hanging on 01, but I've had it boot into OS on 01 as well, so I'm just being patient. I'm going to throw the retry because, oh, the screen just flicked on. Interesting. So it's a hang at this stage. Ooh. Wow, that's a really, really slow boot. I'm not at all confident this is going to pass a bench. I don't even have a mouse, actually. Hopefully the OS isn't dead. Let's try limp mode. I mean, limp mode should go into bias kind of semi-automagically anyway. At least that's how it works on Intel. Of course, on AMD, it doesn't do anything whatsoever. It just sort of sits there. All right, I think that's the last bias clear I'm doing. Slowly approaching the 4-hour mark. I think I need a snack. I'd lie down at this point probably. But I just one more run. I just want to see what else, what other hijinks we can get up to in this bench. Come on, you can do it. Okay. Load the profile. And it keeps setting these to enable, which is a bit of a shame. So Ovis has 38, so let's try 38. That's on a crosshair, but let's give that a go. I mean, his RAM is generally pretty loose compared to mine, so let's give it a go. What's the? It's it's. I think it's looking good. Just woke up. So you joined the stream earlier and had a nap? That's fair enough, I suppose. God damn it. Let's give it one retry. We're currently on to Geekbench 3. Knocked out 112k with 13k memory. Yeah. It's been alright. Give it a one retry. I mean, even if I can, I remember RC being a pretty good timing, pretty like scaled a lot. Okay, let's do retry, then bias, then 42 RC. Oh, it's not far away. It's sort of almost booting. You just woke up. I'm like closer to falling asleep. The save bug again. Look at this. Like, what? I just don't get it. Okay, this will be... I mean, I might do reruns, but this will be the last boot. I'm not going to say it's going to be the last run, but it's going to be... You know, I might do reruns, but it's going to be the last run for sure. This is the most benching I've done in one session since December. Okay, now my PS2 keyboard is not functioning. Oh, it's okay. It's already, yeah, whatever. Something's happening. It's sort of looking like a cleaner boot than last time, but let's see. RC appears to actually be, you know, the thing that we attempted to set it to. Would help if I was on that view. All right, this is the run. This is the run. Horrendous. Try again. Nah, hopeless. Okay, I said I wasn't gonna go to bias again, but just out of pure curiosity, let's go 46 RC. Because it's close, right? It's close. And I even like wonder, are there any gains from it? Maybe I'm just unnecessarily tightening. Maybe I should really be aiming for higher frequency, for example. Hopefully no save bug. Let's do it. Now, this is the run. I said before that it was the run, but this is actually going to be the run. Okay, just quick check in CPU Z and then smash it up. 120k. It says what it says. We're not accidentally at 102 BCLK because that would cause a Juxtra fail as well. We're still 101.5, which yeah is floating around wildly. Quantum computers. Sure. Send me one and I'll overclock it. No problem. It'll be hilarious if this just scores really badly and it was just a bit of a sideline that didn't work out. 112.7 compared to 112.4. We'll save it. We'll save it. Almost 7k down on multi-core versus overs, and 15 down on 7k down on multi-integer and 15k down on floating point compared to overs. So he's obviously got higher CPU clocks. I mean, I'll keep going until a fail, like a crash. Obviously, this is not the end of the stream. 112.7k. I'm not liking the screenshot feng shui. Gotta rearrange. Okay. Don't like these gaps. All right, let's leave the peak at 1.45. And 5.4. Five, 4 flat. Okay. I mean, I doubt this will be interesting just to see if it passes. No. Okay, that's my sign. That's the end of the stream. Thanks all for watching. It's been fun hanging out with you guys. I'll aim to do another stream next week. I'm open to suggestions. I actually don't know if I'm gonna do aim 5 again. There's a Discord. Yeah, just let me know what you want me to overclock. I have like a lot of hardware, so it's been fun. Just almost ticking over the 4-hour mark. It's good to be back. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next time.